The brand new Honda Prologue arrives in dealers in March as the first battery electric vehicle SUV Honda will sell here in North America. And this Elite trim includes plenty of creature comforts. Let's take a closer look. Looking at the front of the car, you can see that for an SUV, this thing is pretty darn low to the ground. It's also pretty darn wide. And because it's an electric vehicle, you can see that there's basically no grille. You have some small openings down here with these nice horizontal slots built in, but generally this is all flat and blanked out and gives it a very clean design. I do like these long and narrow running lights here, these LED running lights with these three main beams beneath that. And then if you look down low, you have these nice fog lights and then an air inlet to let air flow into the wheel well right here to prevent a high pressure zone to build up in the front wheel well. I also like how long and expansive the windshield is, and it goes pretty darn low. So front end visibility is quite good. Generally, I think it's a nice and clean design. And while the hood itself looks cool, I'm quite curious to see myself and to show you what's underneath. It's kind of a big reveal. Whoa! First of all, I love that the first thing you see is not some big black plastic shroud, but like, you know, actual metal casings and electronics and wiring harnesses and gadgets. But also, look how tucked far back all this stuff is. You can see that even in this relatively small space, you still have tons of room here. There's a very crystal clear image of the motor mount down there and a lot of other accessories and stuff like that. You do still have a 12-volt battery, but it is tucked back fairly close to the firewall. And check this out. The axle center line is right here, so that puts you about right here. So this inverter electric motor stuff, much of it is actually behind the front axle, putting more of the weight in the center, a lot less weight hanging out in the front. That's super cool to see. Also, you get a good look at a lot of exposed structure down here to see what makes up the front end. That's super cool. Now, we don't have a strut tower brace in a technical sense, not some bar going across, but look where the struts are versus where this beam is right here. So you essentially have a built-in front strut tower base built in the frame. And finally, windshield washer fluid is easy to find right here up front, easy to get at. Looking at the car in profile, this is a good time to mention that you can tell the car's pretty wet, but it's actually pretty much a minor miracle that we're not getting rained on right now. It's been raining relentlessly the entire time I've been here, so the fact that we're actually getting a little sun is kind of amazing. Also, this is a nice like light blue grayish color paint. I think it looks good. I'll go ahead and put the official name of the color up on the screen for you to check out. And this is a good time to let you know that this is roughly the same size as a Honda Passport. It's actually a little bit longer and a little bit lower. I will go ahead and put the dimensions up on the screen now for you to check out and let you know that I have a lot more information in the description. And again, just like the front of the car, I think we've got a nice design here. I like the black side view mirror covers to combine with the black window trim right here, combined with the glass roof rails right here. And then we have some more black, although a bit dirty to be honest, down here for the lower cowl right here. It's a nice contrast to the paint, and you also have black door handles as well. This right here up in the driver's side front quarter panel, this is your charge port right here, and you can see you have the option for the fast charging right there. You can charge it up to 150 kilowatts, which Honda says will get you 65 miles of range for 10 minutes of charging. Standard wheels on a Honda Prologue EX are 19-inch wheels, but this Honda Elite trim comes standard with 21-inch 6-spoke wheels, and they are very big. But I have to say they look good. I like the combination of machine exposed metal right here with the black along the sides. I think that's a cool look. And I will tell you that I do have experience to let you know that these tires do a good job to keep you on the road even in heavy rain. This is a pretty darn wide tire, 275 45 R21s. 275, that's 275 millimeters wide. I'll go ahead and put that in inches for you to check out. This is a pretty big tire and a wide one as well. And yes, this is a square setup. The wheels in back are the same size as the wheels in front. Looking at the car in back, more of the same design language comes through for sure. Although this is just a little bit more 80s to me. It's got some like squared off bits and some rectangles and stuff built in. Like look at these tail lights. You got this like rectangular shape here, and then this thin rectangle here, and then a wider rectangle here, and then a whole nother section with more rectangles and vertical ones. It's an interesting kind of like nostalgic vibe for me a little bit. Also, you might have noticed this very clean looking Honda lettering right here. This is new. This is the US debut of this new Honda logo look right here for EV vehicles. That combines with this E right here with a colon just above the all-wheel drive nomenclature right there. And like I was telling you, this is a Prologue Elite. This new badging right here, as I understand it, we'll see on more Honda EVs coming in the future, and potentially, eventually, on every Honda. I do think that the general styling works here as well. I like the very subtle roof spoiler. It's not overly done. And then the contrast with the black against the paint color, and then down to this more finished metal look, although that is plastic. And of course, we don't have any exhaust tailpipes to worry about at all, so we don't have to worry about any fake ones. So yeah, overall, I think it's a really clean design and a reasonably spacious one as well. Let's look inside. It's a power lift gate. And that exposes 25 cubic feet of storage behind the second row, and a little bit of extra storage underneath the floor. And you can see here, got a shallow compartment right there, but then a pretty darn deep one right here. This goes a solid 12 inches, I would say. My arm goes to my elbow going in this deep storage. It's narrow, but it's deep. And yes, if you need more storage and only need to carry one passenger, that is super easy to do. Pull a couple levers and you get 58 cubic feet of storage and room for you and a passenger. All right, let's check out the inside. Because we have a nice long wheelbase and because it's only a 2-row SUV, legroom looks ample in the second row. I am 5 feet 11 inches or 181 centimeters tall, and as you can see, I have several inches of knee room right here, and I have the front seat set up to be comfortable for me. The seat bottoms are a tiny touch lower than ideal, so thigh support is only okay, but I definitely do have a much less than 90-degree bend in my knees. We also have this nice panoramic moonroof right here, and you can see the privacy panel is open. With that, I have enough headroom, but only just. It's barely enough. But I do also have 2 USB ports down here and an AC plug right there as well, plus a little storage right here, which is always nice. And finally, what second row would be complete without an armrest with cup holders? Oh yeah, we've got it all. All right, to the front. So as I open the front door, it's going to start beeping at us right away, and that's because the car has actually been running the entire time. You can see the ready signal right there. I'll go ahead and turn it off. Push button start is right here. I do like this nice two-tone interior you see right here. We do have the usual controls on the door right here, as well as 2-position seat memory right there. The seats themselves are comfortable and have decent support. They're not the most supportive seats you'll see, but you know, decent upper bolsters and lower bolsters as well. And you do have plenty of controls right here, including lumbar adjustment over here. You do have both tilt and telescope adjustment. It is manually done under here, and there are a few controls to the left of the steering wheel, including your electric park brake, your sport driving mode, and lane centering, and more. As you can see, we currently have 60% charge and 166 miles of range. That all seems reasonable, but I'm going to turn the car back on now because I want to show you these screens. And there is your fully digital 11-inch instrument cluster right there. And as you can see, we have plenty of controls on the steering wheel to make adjustments, including this one right here. And you can see that you have all kinds of different configurations to look at in terms of the instrument cluster, including Google Maps. I'll talk about that more in just a moment. Another thing worth pointing out, because we have an Elite trim, we do have a heated steering wheel and a head-up display. Also, this is a departure for Honda. The shifter is no longer a push button thing on the center console. It is now on the steering column, and it's a little quirky. You have to get used to it. So park is this push button right here, but if you want to get into reverse, you have to first push it forward, then up. Neutral, you just click it forward, and then drive, you click it forward and push it down. Next to your digital instrument cluster is your 11.3-inch center console touchscreen. This is standard on all Prologues, as is the dual climate control below it, as is the heated seats that you see right there. This 11.3-inch screen also comes standard with Google built in, and that includes Google Assistant, Google Play, and Google Maps. You also get wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. And before we get away from the center console, I should show you a couple things. You do have adjustable one-pedal driving. It is done with this button right here. That turns on one-pedal driving, and then you can set the different levels. So you can have it off, normal, or high. I generally like these systems on high so that I can one-pedal drive as often as possible. But, you know, it's nice to have the adjustment to suit your needs. And of course, we do have cameras to look at and all these kinds of things. It's all very lovely. Because this is an Elite trim, we not only get heated seats, we get ventilated seats as well. But back to standard features, we get 2 more USB Type-C ports right here and an old cigarette lighter style 12-volt charge port right there. We also have this nice tray right here, which is wide enough for 2 smartphones if you want to put them there. And you also have 2 levels of storage. So down beneath this, you get that storage right there, which is nice and also wide. After that, you get a couple of cup holders, and this is also standard equipment. This is a wireless smartphone charger, and it is what Honda calls pocket style. There you go. Beneath that is this lower center console storage here, which is nice and deep, and you do also have this removable tray right there. Looking up, here are your controls for the panoramic moonroof, which of course has an electric privacy panel. Lovely. Again, because we're an Elite trim, we also have a Bose premium sound system. As I mentioned before, we do also have a sport drive mode right here. So if you turn on the sport drive mode, this little track configuration shows up right there. And it does change some aspects to the way this car responds to the accelerator, but the biggest single difference I felt was actually the noise you hear. Honda does incorporate active sound into the Prologue, and in sport mode, it makes a more pronounced noise when you're heavy on the accelerator. So there you have it, the 2024 Honda Prologue, their first full-line mainstream SUV battery electric vehicle. Super interesting to see, and I think there's a lot to like here. I'm Robin Warner. Thank you very much for watching.